Got 2008 Toyota Highlander with a 3.5. Can do spark plugs and ignition coils. These front three are easy to do, but the back three are not. So first thing you want to do is remove your engine cover if you got an engine cover on it. Then you need to remove your air filter upper housing. And it's got a bunch of vacuum lines going to it. Be careful not to break them. The little one here, undo that one. Best thing for you to do is to twist them. One here. Got that one. And you got this one. And you got another one right there. And you got this big vent tube there. Master's flow sensor connector here. You got an evap hose going over here. Undo that from there. Undo your clamp at the throttle body. Spray down some lube. Get it inside there, lift it up to help break the seal. And you got two bolts, one here and one there. And those are 10s. Most of the time they rust out. And a pain in the butt to get to. But other than that, now you can lift it up and wiggle it out of there. And it's got a baffle tube over there. So you gotta watch out for that. Okay? Okay, now that you got that off, okay, you can vacuum all the dirt out of there. And the next thing you need to do is remove this breather tube from this valve cover to the intake. Got two little clamps on them. Comes off pretty easy. And you got another one right here. Just twist it, pull it. Push it up to the side. I don't know if you want to take this one off or not. They don't lose it. All right. Then you got a connector over here in the back side. And here, you gotta push the little tab in. If you can't push the tab in, I couldn't either. Get yourself a little angle pick. Go in through the front side of it. And lift up the little tab that's inside here. Lift up the little tab inside there, and then you can pull it off. All right. Next you want to do is remove the intake bolts. Should be a 10, and I think these are 6 Allens. I'll have to double check. Remove those. Okay, here's the intake bolts. They're Allens, and it's a 5mm, not a 6. All right. So you got 4 of those, and you got 2 nuts. Now we'll just see how lucky you are if somebody's been in there before you or not. Okay, this side lifts up. That means that this bolt in the back side is out. And you got one left over here on the back side. Okay, so I need to still remove that one. And those are 12mm, and their bolt goes right about here. Okay, you pick your hand back there, go down, you'll feel it. First bolt you feel right here. Okay? Then you need to remove that one. I'll show you where the one is when I get the intake off on that back side. That's pretty tough. Okay, this is what the bolt looks like. It bolted into there. Into that bracket right there. There's also another bracket right here, with your wire harness that goes to it for the throttle body, I'm pretty sure. Right here. That's held on with a 10 on the front. You can remove that. Or you can try to pry that off. But I just lifted it up and it broke it, so. But anyway, then you get this tube that you took off earlier and take it off the back valve cover, put it up there. All right, now the other one is right here, which is right around the corner from this. You really can't get to it because of this plastic. It's really hard to get to. You have to get to it from way behind here with a wrench, W wrench, and get to it. The bracket's missing for it. I was fortunate. Somebody already took it out. So when you're going back together, it'd be nice not to have a washer on there, because the washer turns when you're trying to tighten and loosen the nut. Okay. Like I said, the front 3 are easy to get to. The back 3 are not. What you basically need to do is, to get to the back 3, is remove this bolt, and that nut. And then also remove your injector connectors. Hopefully they don't break. And this wire harness is really old and brittle. So once you get this out, you can unplug your coils, and then you can unbolt them with 10s. And then you want to pry the coils up, and you just have to move them here this way or that way, that wire harness, to pull the coils out. And then you can get access to your spark plugs. And also you want to do is put something over these holes so you don't drop nothing in them on the intake ports. Okay, I gotta put duct tape over it. Next you want to do is get a blowgun and blow it out all around there and get all the dirt and everything from in there. Mice droppings or whatever, just blow it all out. Okay, on top of the coils, down back in the intake. Okay. So I'm gonna do these front ones first, okay? So what I'm gonna do is unplug this sensor, unplug the coils, unbolt the coils, pull the coils up, get access to my spark plugs. All right, you pull the spark plug coils out. What you wanna do is you wanna inspect your coils, and when you pull them out, if they look like that, you got problems, okay? You're getting oil into your spark plug tube, okay? The tube comes all the way up to the top here, and most likely you'd think it's coming up over this seal and dripping down in there, but on some cars, yeah, but this tube is pretty high. So I'm gonna say that the tube is leaking in at the base, inside the head. So you'll have to pull this valve cover off and replace the tube. Unless you got that tool, you can just go ahead and pull the tube out right now, you know. But what I'm gonna do is clean it off and fill this up around the top with some silicone, and hopefully it was just this piece that was bleeding at, which I highly doubt it. Okay, so at least it's on the one you can get to. If ones in the back are always leaking, that's not too good. If it's this one, I can always just, when it starts to leak, I can just go ahead and replace that, clean that tube out and replace that coil. Okay, before I pour the spark plugs out, I cleaned the holes out, cleaned them out with some brake clean, put a blowgun in there with a rag over it, and blew it all out. So when I'm going together, I'm going to put some sealer around the top of my coil and put it down on there, and hopefully that helps seal it if it's leaking at the top here. But I'm pretty sure it's the tube down at the base of the head. So when you get your spark plugs out, you want to check them out. You want to look at them, see how they're firing, so you know what to expect in the future, okay? You're just burning some oil. So when you get your new spark plugs, what you want to do is you want to inspect them, make sure they're not smashed, rub your finger around on the porcelain. If there's any cracks in it, your dirt from your fingers will get stuck in the crack and you'll be able to see it. Okay, so you need to install your new spark plugs and torque them down to 18 foot-pounds. Then put your coils in. I'm replacing mine with some factory coils. And like I said, I'm going to put some sealer on that one when I put it down in there. Okay. I got my bolt nut off, so now I can move this whole wire harness a whole bunch. Okay, so I unplugged my coils. Okay, And I took my 3 bolts out for them, so now I can lift up my coils and inspect them, see how they look, see if they're full of oil, and then get access to my spark plugs. And if they're full of oil, I gotta clean it out, and then I'll pull my plugs. All right, first one full of oil too, so I'm gonna do the same thing, clean it out, put some sealer around the top, push it back, put my new one in there. Okay. Same thing with the spark plugs. Remove the spark plugs, inspect them, and then inspect your new ones, and then put the new ones in and torque them. Okay, and then go ahead and put your coils on, and all right, and we'll go from there. Now look at your spark plugs when you take them out, and look at them. I don't have too high hopes for E3s now, but anyway. That's pretty crusty. Time to look for another vehicle. Alright, so inspect your new spark plugs. Put those in there. Tighten them up, torque them. Put your new coils in there. Snug them up. Put your wire harnesses back on. Okay. You got your little bolt there, bolt there. Your nut on that one. Put this back on if you took it off, because I took mine off. Alright. Now, what we need to do is remove our little cover, and we can put this back on. You don't want to forget that. Okay. Push that on there. Make sure it goes in between there, right there, like that. Okay. So, let's get it by the way until we get this cleaned up. Clean up your gasket surface, replace your gaskets, and then flop your intake back over. Make sure it fits flush. Then you can start all your bolts, and then you can go ahead and torque them, and then put that one 12 millimeter back in the back. And for this one, I'd leave it off if yours had it, because this one didn't have it on there, so it's sufficient. Okay. Okay, got my gaskets in. Make sure the little tits are in the right spot. For the surface, I cleaned it up, and then I put a little bit of Silk Glide on to allow that gasket, or a little bit of lube, allow that gasket to slide on there in case it does move around a little bit, but it won't anyway because of the studs. Just realize that. But anyway, most of the time I'll do that anyway. Okay, got your intake on there, put all your bolts in there, snug them up. And then you want to torque them to 96 inch-pounds. 96 inch-pounds. Go over them a couple of times. When you get done with that, you want to put on, make sure this is over here. Okay? You put your, like your breather tube on to your air cleaner, to your intake. Put your vacuum line on here. Put your evap hose on. Okay? Put that back bolt in back there. I'm going to do that next. Okay, hook up your brake booster hose to the bracket. All right, and then after we get all this done, then we'll go ahead and put the air intake tube on there and do all of our vacuum lines. Okay, you got your air cleaner box top on. Remember, it sticks in there on these little latches first, slides in. You get your 2 bolts, get your clamp. evap line, you hook that up. Make sure you hook up your mass airflow and your vacuum lines, okay? And that's it. And now what you're gonna need to do is go inside, start it up, see how it runs. And it might smoke for a little bit because if you had oil in there, to get oil in there, you'll be burning that off. So, okay, and that's how you do spark plugs and coils on your Highlander. If I helped you out with this video, that's awesome. If you could help me out by subscribing, I appreciate it. Thank you.